This podcast is presented by StreamerCollabs.com, a website made by streamers for streamers. StreamerCollabs.com helps streamers find, connect, and grow their channels by collaboration. We believe that collaboration is key to unlocking the full potential of the streaming community, and we strive to provide the tools and resources needed to make that happen. So join us today and let's make a difference together on StreamerCollabs.com.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streamer Collabs podcast. My name is Charles, aka Buzz, aka the Big Buzzy Wuzzy, and today with my co-host,
the Big Yo Infamous, aka David, and today we are here with our special guest.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gents? My name is Inverse Delta. Some call me Inverse, some call me Delta, some call me Upside Down Triangle. Thank you, boys, for having me on the podcast today.
Of course, man. Of course.
It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Let's just jump into it, man. So, first things first, how did you get started streaming and making content in general? And did anybody inspire you to do it?
So, I didn't really have any particular inspiration, but when I first moved to the country I currently live in, Japan, I started off blogging my experiences here and posting them to YouTube. But due to a string of unfortunate circumstances regarding me having to study and stuff because I went to university here, I was unable to do content creation for the entirety of the time that I was in university and for a few years after that during work. But after that all passed and I managed to get my, my lifestyle into a bit of a decent rhythm, I decided I wanted to go back to content creation. But I felt like videos was a bit more time consuming and it wasn't quite the stuff that I wanted to do anymore. So I gave some thought to, if I'm going to spend some time playing games, why not, jump on stream and share it with everyone else while I'm at it. So I just sort of started and that's where it came into, I guess.
Nice.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Damn. Do you stream? Would you say you consider yourself a full-time streamer?
Absolutely not. I've definitely gone into like a more hobbyist streamer mindset over time. Like, I've always tried to put as much effort into my stream as I possibly can, but due to the fact that living in another country, you got to have a visa, which means you got to have a job, which means you got to put as much time as you can into your work, because otherwise they're not going to keep you around. I'm not really in a position to be a full-time streamer, but it's definitely where I'd like to start moving towards if I possibly could in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think you could? Would it be possible, like, let's say you become a full-time streamer like tomorrow, like you're making bank off it, you're a big-time streamer. Would it be would that count as like
your job
fulfilling the prerequisites for a work visa?
It depends on the country, but it does indeed actually fulfill those things as a freelance visa, which you can get here in Japan.
Got it.
As long as you're earning a certain amount of money per month, you can apply for a freelance visa, so long as you've got the proof of the income up to a certain amount per month.
Got it. Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Nice.
That's pretty sick.
Nice. If you don't mind me asking, what drew you to Japan?
So when I was in high school, right, we had a elective for Japanese, and I went into that for a couple of years simply because it was one of the few leftover electives that I could pick at the time. I didn't really have too many things I specialized in at the time, and Japanese just happened to be one of the leftovers. So I got a pretty decent amount of practice back then. Ironically, what I was good at then is completely what I'm opposite to being good at now. But as I was finishing up high school, I didn't quite know what I wanted to study university yet. So, perfect timing. There was a flyer coming around my high school asking anyone if they wanted to go on exchange to Japan for a year. So I'm like, well, I've got nothing better to be doing with my time if I don't really know what I want to study. So I decided to pick it up.
Nice.
Talked it over with my folks. Look, I'm not really feeling going to university just yet. So how's about this going to Japan thing for a year? So, I picked it up, decided to go, and found a good enough reason to stick around. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just go to university here, I guess.
Good shit, man.
That's
and here I am.
Yeah, nice. Congrats.
And I'm assuming that elective was speaking Japanese?
It was just all around. Speaking, writing, reading, listening, everything. There's just overall Japanese stuff,
So that really did just give you a jump start into like, oh, well, it makes sense to go here because I can like read and write in Japanese too.
Yeah, it was just everything sort of, all the stars sort of aligned for me at the time. So it's like, I guess this is the way I'm supposed to walk,
Yeah,
that's awesome, dude. That's really sick.
That's really sick. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
And back to content creation. What would you say the biggest struggle you've dealt with while creating content is? Like streaming, YouTube, all that stuff.
There's probably two really big ones. The first is visibility. So when you're a smaller streamer, of course, you'll always have the people at the top names, particularly in certain categories. Of course, you'll have people coming into that category specifically for certain content creators, like someone who's big on YouTube is streaming for the day. You'll have like double the amount of people in that category specifically for that person. So half of the people will be going to them, and the other half will just be split between everyone else. And then when you're down the bottom of the list, it's hard to get anyone to come see you. So you've got to pick and choose your timing when you're going to be streaming. And aside from that, there's also the very slow build up when you first start out. Because obviously, if you're at the very, very bottom of the list, you've got no one watching, you've got no followers. It's a very, very slow build. You get your first follower, and then you got the one, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to wait around for the second, and maybe by then the first is already gone. You never know. You just gotta persist, you know. And I suppose that time frame, because that followed for about a solid 6 months in my case. That time frame can be some of the most difficult stuff for any streamer, I reckon. And for me in particular, I definitely felt it at the time as well.
Sure, yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. Especially like you said, it's difficult being seen on stream. And I think, David, you and I talk about this literally every episode, every interview. Twitch isn't necessarily made for folks like us to grow, because like I'm a smaller streamer too. Like, you know, it's a good day when I see double digits in my chat, and it's just like it's difficult because it's like I'm grinding. I know the content I'm making is pretty good, but nobody's watching because everyone's watching like, you know, someone like Ninja or something. No shade to him, but you know, it's just like,
even if you log in with like an incognito window, like they're only showing you like Kaide, like Cocarnage, like Pokemon, like they have their people that they want to push at that point. So
exactly, the people that are making them money.
It makes sense, man. What advice would you give to somebody who has just begun streaming?
Well, I mean, exactly just on what I said. Just gotta persist. I mean, once you start, you gotta stick around for that first person, even if you just gotta invite a couple people over out of your, like, you know, your real life friends or family or whatever, just until you get some regular viewers, just to pump up your numbers enough that you get visibility. And then, you know, once you get in the visibility, the people coming back that aren't, you know, necessarily those people you've invited, that's when you finally got a bit of a foothold to keep going forward. So it's just persistence until you get to that point. It can take, you know, days, weeks, months. I've seen some people grow like from no viewers through up until like 100 followers in the span of like less than a month and a half.
Damn.
Amongst even the people that I know. And like it's hard to watch that sort of like very sudden growth, because it's you think to yourself, well, why isn't that me?
Yeah.
But
that's real.
You know, everyone's got different growth paces. It all depends on what you're streaming, when you're streaming, who you're streaming to, a bunch of different factors. And sometimes, you know, everything goes well, sometimes it doesn't, and you just got to persist until it does, you know?
Yeah.
And like you said, bro, everything goes until sometimes it goes good, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of times it's just luck.
Yeah.
Like someone's streaming the right game at the right time, and the right person either raids them or the right person pops into chat and says, yo, I like your shit. And then they bring their friend. A lot of Twitch is, unfortunately, well, at least until we get, you know, streamer collabs going, David, a lot of it is just luck, to where you can't really like growth.
Really, like, strategically like do these specific things to grow. Like
there's no
Twitch,
path.
you know what I mean? There's no real, I don't know. It's just tough. It's just every man for himself right now.
Absolutely,
Twitch,
yeah.
man.
And you said that, David, because it's like a lot of times when people, at least in the streaming sphere, I feel are fairly not territorial. What's the word? They're very closed off, because you said it's a very isisolated. David said it's a very isolated experience. Streaming,
it feels like
and it can be
because everybody's so. I don't know. Keep going.
No, I was gonna say, because everybody wants to kind of like keep to themselves, because if they've got a good thing going, they might not want to jeopardize that by bringing someone else into it, and it's like rating someone. They're like, these are my viewers.
I mean, more than isolated, I guess the way I'd put it is competitive, you know, like trying to you've got a limited resource, which is the viewers, and depending on how it's divided, you know, if you accidentally introduce them to someone that they consider more interesting than you, then I mean, it's no longer a matter of loyalty, it's just a matter of preference. They'll just head over there, and suddenly maybe you've lost someone, maybe you haven't, but you never know until your numbers start going down, you know.
Exactly. And that's a lot. That's the mindset of a lot of streamers. They're like incredibly competitive about it, which is fine. I mean, I understand it, but like
fair game.
Yeah. It's not really helpful for growth, you know. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not here to bag on people who are like who don't want to do that. It's just like
some people just want to stream by themselves. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah.
But and
Go ahead.
What would you say the game you've seen the most success with is? And what is your most streamed genre or category? Because you may not even stream games. You could do IRL.
I mean, it's definitely both the same thing for me, and that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I had a streamer that I was watching towards the start of the year, someone who is a I don't even remember how I found their stream in the first place, but on earth, how did I find this? I can't even remember. It was like late, like mid last year. It was over a year ago now that I found their stream, maybe even 2 years ago now. But they started streaming again earlier this year, and they were streaming Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And I am an incredibly competitive person when it comes to something that I can understand and people that I know. So if I have a group of people I know, I absolutely have to be the best out of all of them at whatever it is they're all doing.
Yeah.
So this person that I know starts playing this game and has been playing it for way longer than me, both IRL and on Master Duel on PC. I'm just like, man, I don't know nothing about this game, but damn, do I want to beat them at it.
He's just sizing up opponents. He's like, yeah, I can see it happening.
Like, I need that crown right there. I want that.
Pretty much. So
go ahead.
So basically what I did is I'm just like, man, I have no idea how to play this game. Can you teach me? And they're like, oh yeah, well, I mean, you could just download the game and try yourself. I'm just like, oh, but it's like complicated, isn't it? Because like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like 10 years old now. I have no idea how to play. It's like, it was more than 10 years. It's like 25 years old this year or whatever. But I downloaded the game. It had a decent amount of tutorials. I played through tutorials, learned, how to play the game within like a week or whatever. It wasn't that difficult to learn, much easier than I thought it was. And I'm just like, so I know what deck they play. How can I counter that specifically?
That's crazy. You went this shit up immediately.
Bro is just plotting.
That is crazy, bro. Nah, that's
some anime villain shit. Just be like,
like on my stream, everyone knows me as the villain specifically because I will find the worst possible way to absolutely beat their shit into the ground, and then I'll make the biggest deal about it and just be like, yes, victory.
Nah, that's real. That's real. We need more villains. We need more villains because everybody with this, yeah.
Everyone's like positivity.
Positivity. No, we need somebody to level the playing field a little.
There's no room for that here.
Sorry. No. I see your 5 cards on the board. I raise you. Get the hell lost with all of them. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Out of greed.
That's it. It's over. Nice, man. Nice. So these last couple of questions, we're gonna shift away from streaming. So what would you say your favorite movie is right now?
My favorite movie? Oh damn. I mean, see, the funny thing is that the exact thing that I studied at university was actually filmography. So I was introduced to a bunch of older films through that, but I've also come to like more modern films in recent years. As opposed to older films. Having seen both of them, I've been able to compare them one to another. I'd have to say, is this just limited to more recent films or just in general?
Just general.
I love old films too, bro. Don't worry about it.
Hold on. What was that J.K. Simmons film? I can't remember what it was.
J.K. Simmons.
Whiplash. 2014's Whiplash.
Is that the one where he's like directing a band or something?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, I've seen a couple of clips from that. J.K. Simmons is an exceptional actor.
He is an exceptional. Everything he's in is absolutely legendary.
Everything he touches is gold, bro. Like he's got the Midas touch.
Oh, let me see.
Absolutely.
I remember character names. I'm sorry to all.
He's J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh,
J.
I
Jonah
fucking love that dude.
Yeah. From the Spider-Man.
It was like no matter what movie he's in, he's always the angriest guy on the floor.
For real.
I was like Invincible. Then I was like, yes, I remember the plot to Invincible.
Yeah.
That shit, I fucking love that guy.
And
go ahead.
For the next question, would you rather fight a gorilla every week for the rest of your life with a 50-50% chance of winning, or would you rather every other intrusive thought you think of come true?
Oh, fight the bloody gorilla. If I got a 50-50 chance of winning every single day, why the hell not? It's a gorilla, man.
Exactly. You either you're either the guy who wins against a gorilla or put up a pretty decent fight against a gorilla. So you win either way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it to you this way. Back in my younger years, right, before I moved to Japan, I did karate for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So I was a practice fighter before moving here in the first place, and my favorite part of doing karate was always sparring.
Yes.
So
Yep.
if you give
Yes.
me the option to front up or get into my head, I'm a front up.
bro said front up.
I'm
So
fucking-
I've been waiting
I'm
for
with
this shit, bro.
I'm waiting.
Come get me, boy.
I'm a vet with this
Bro,
shit.
fight night, because we were in karate when we were younger, bro. I
Yeah.
remember.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
But like, well, I'm talking like young. So like, I'm 6 years old and we're doing sparring, right? They call them fight nights.
Mhm.
Tell me why they put me against a 20-year-old black belt, and I'm on the floor. I'm 6 years old. I'm like, I'm just
No
trying to
wonder
get
he's a
my
black
blue belt.
belt.
I'm like, okay, let's do it. Bro gets me on the ground. My leg is somewhere it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, what
I'm like, help!
the
I remember crying, but I got my belt that night.
Nah, man, your sensei had a plan. It was to put you in the damn ground that night.
I'ma get a win.
Earn this belt, bro.
Bro said, I'm gonna get a win. It's gonna be you.
I needed to give him a little boost, bro. Would you rather fight 10 chicken-sized gorillas or 1 gorilla-sized chicken?
10 chicken-sized gorillas or one gorilla-sized chicken.
Yeah.
Big ass chicken, bro.
Oh, that's
chicken.
hell the
Big ass
gorillas,
chicken.
man. Chickens got them sharp-ass claws. Hell with that.
That's what I've been saying the whole time, bro. Because they got the beak, they got claws, they got those powerful ass wings.
It's like, you all know how big a goddamn gorilla is? That's about like half the size of a car. That you think
Yes.
about
That's a
relative
big
size,
ass-
how big
yeah.
those claws and their beak is. Look, I don't care if I got a 50% chance of winning. I ain't coming out with all of my internal organs, and that's all that matters.
Exactly.
These are
Exactly.
valuable to me in my way of life. Yeah.
And when you win, that's like you said yesterday, bro, that's a shit ton of protein.
Exactly. That's
Your freezer is stocked for
That's
life.
chicken.
You're good.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'll take the mini gorillas, man. At least I can fend off a little baby gorillas. Like, I mean, you've surely seen those ragdoll games in the past where you
Yes.
kick
Oh,
something
yup,
hard enough, it
yup.
just goes absolutely
It just fucking
flying.
flies. Yup. See,
That's the image that goes through my head when I think of 10 little baby gorillas running at you to fight.
Lines up the shot.
Lions and fucking Deadpool.
It's like all I see is a soccer ball with legs.
Soccer ball with legs is crazy.
That's crazy.
No. And for our final question, Mr. Inverse Delta, what food would you say that you could not live without?
What food would I say I could not live without? Butter chicken, my boy. Indian butter chicken.
Yes.
Butter chicken is gas.
Yes. Butter chicken is so fucking
gas.
good. I mean,
Yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I've lived off of butter chicken for a solid chunk of my life. Before I came to Japan, it was butter chicken whenever I had the option to get whatever I wanted to eat.
Mhm.
After I come to Japan, I go and suss out all the Indian restaurants in the area. I'll find the one that has the best butter chicken. It's mine. I'm at home and need something to feed on. You know what I'm getting? I'm getting my phone, plugging in, checking out what restaurant's gonna bring me the food. Oh, it's Indian. Give me that butter chicken.
Give me
bro.
that shit.
Butter chicken.
Word.
I feel like that's one of those universal foods that I don't think anybody could say they dislike. There's there's too much to like about it. It's
That's
savory.
really
It's
fucking
it's
good, bro.
it's just chicken. It's so good.
Look, man, if they could say that they didn't like butter chicken, I could say that they're a chicken-sized gorilla.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Just get them out of here.
Hey,
Get them out
soccer
of here.
ball with legs, bro. Let's get him out of here. Soccer ball with legs. Hey, man.
I mean, well, that was actually all of our questions, man. Well, thank you for sitting down with us today. Before
No
we head
problem.
out, was there anything you wanted to plug? Social media, Twitch.
Twitter.
I mean, to be honest, I don't really touch my social medias all too often. I try to
True.
keep on Twitter as much as I possibly can, but for anyone who's interested, I'm on Twitch 3-4 times a week. Not really on any specific schedule, but I try to stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I've not really got a set time, but for anyone who's interested, feel free to stop by. We're streaming Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Starting next week, we're going to be doing Skyrim role-playing.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
And
nice.
otherwise, we got Just Chatting, and on Mondays, we've got whatever game fuels your fancy. And at the moment, it's Remnant 2, being that it's a popular game as is. So,
Cool, man.
anyone who's got time free, wants to come chill out. We speak some Japanese on the stream too occasionally. So if you want to, sit down and chat some Japanese, learn a little bit of foreign language, feel free to stop on by.
Nice, man. Nice.
Before we go, I do have one question. What's your go-to build in Skyrim?
My go-to build in Skyrim. See, the thing is that I throw out a bunch of mods.
Yes,
And
love mods.
I would say that my my build that I always go for is always using the undeath mod. and I'll go through the whole route to become an undead lich with vampire powers, because the two mesh just absolutely perfectly
That's
with
so
ice magic
sick.
and stuff.
I gotta get.
I've never played. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I think because I heard about it a couple years ago, but I heard it was pretty buggy back then. So I was kind of like, okay, but I might have to try that one out.
I mean,
never
it's
do
still
magic
buggy,
builds.
but like as an undead lich, right? When you fly around, you've got the same general animations and models as a dragon priest, except you don't have the staff. So basically, you're just flying around T-posing on everyone, throwing magic at them.
That's horrifying. Just be like, what the fuck is that? It's just some random
You just see in the sky, undead lich.
just throwing fireballs. All right, man. But yeah, that's gonna do it, man. That's gonna do it. So thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, boys. I appreciate
Of course. This has been the Streamer Collabs podcast. My name is Buzz, aka Charles, aka the Big Buzzy Wuzzy.
And this has been Infamous, aka the Big Yo Infamous, aka David, aka me. And today our special guest has been the amazing
Inverse Delta, boys. Thanks for having me on, and hope to be catching you guys around sometime soon on maybe your streams. See you
Of
around,
course.
boys.
I actually
Yes,
just
sir.
dropped
Is
the
it
follow
Twitch?
on yours.
I was about to say, is
Thanks
it
a lot.
twitch.tv/inverse delta, no space, or any underscore?
Yeah, no space, no space.
No space. Okay. Twitch.tv/inverse delta. Get it at my boy's channel, boys. All right.
He's the first one that pops up when you look him up.
All right, bet. All right. We will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you again, Delta, for coming on. Appreciate y'all. Peace.